Hi everybody, it's Greg here again and welcome to tutorial number 2 of our online Renaissance fencing training series. And today we're going to be talking about how to improve your Stoccata Thrust according to Grassi's principles. In my first tutorial on conditioning training, we made use of one of these, which is a resistance band, and I'm going to use it as a visual aid to start off this video to talk about some of the theory of this. In the Grassi system, the attacks are delivered primarily through the use of the upper torso, a little bit like a boxer throwing a punch. But the key thing is the movements that you execute shouldn't be really sharp and jagged and uncontrolled. They should stretch and contract in a manner not dissimilar to the resistance band. So try to have in your heads this elasticated kind of springy movement when you're judging whether you're doing the body movements correctly or not. Okay, to start with, I'm going to be demonstrating stuff using my dagger in place of a sword because it's a little bit more maneuverable, but I will show stuff with a sword later on. Okay, so simple things. First, the stoccata is the main attack in rapier fencing, in Italian rapier fencing, and basically it's a thrust where the tip of the weapon strikes the target a little bit higher than the hand. Sometimes it could be a lot higher at an angle like this, but usually it's something like this. Okay, so it's a rising thrust, a lightly rising thrust on many an occasion. Okay, so the basic mechanic for this is, if I stand this way in our guard stance, is an expansion of the body in order to throw the attack. I'll just put my dagger down actually. So you can think of it as being this kind of a motion. Okay, this is not exactly the same as a sword movement, but it's just to demonstrate what your torso is doing. Okay, so all these muscles, the big muscles at the back, are helping to power the thrust, which is being projected from and through the arm, like this. Okay, so that mechanic is what we're going to practice first of all. So you're going to stand with your weapon held down outside your hip, and you're going to practice extending the weapon and then expanding the body. So we get a motion like this. Expanding out, contracting back. Expanding out, contracting back. And we're keeping the arms as loose as possible. Okay. And once you have that movement nice and smooth, fluid and elastic, we're going to continue to do it, but taking a step forward with the lead foot. The weapon moves first, propelled by the body, and then is extended and supported by the action of the lead foot. The foot doesn't need to move that far. 1 foot length to 1.5 foot lengths is about right. Okay? So it's a compact but powerful attack. If we look at this in profile, we're going to see another important aspect of the 16th century style of stoccata, which is a little different from later period lunges. Watch my upper torso and my back leg here. So we push out with a weapon, expand the body, and take a step forward. When we end up in a pose like this, okay, so my limbs are relaxed, they're not locked, tip of the weapon's higher than the hand, and the back flank is as close as you can get to a straight line. Okay, so to demonstrate this, I'll put my dagger down again and grab another tool, so a staff, a short staff here. So this I'm just going to keep down at my side for now. I'm going to make the attack action, so the hand pushes the weapon, the body expands, and we take a step forwards. So we're looking for a straight line here, so from the shoulder down towards the heel of the back foot. And this means your body is in a very strong and supported and stable posture. And it also allows the upper body, especially the shoulders, to project strength into the attack. So, the stick down, we're looking for these two elements to combine. So the expansion of the chest, back and shoulders to power the attack, and then a short, simple advance of the foot, combined with maintaining a straight back flank to support everything and give a good shape to it. So that is how to make an ideal Stoccata thrust in the Grassi system. Now I'm going to demonstrate this now, dagger away again, with a sword. When you make the thrust, you can make a simple thrust with the true edge of the sword aligned down to the ground. That is perfectly acceptable. It's a very simple stoccata. If you are facing against an opponent who is on guard, you might want to cover the tip of the sword as you throw your attack. So you're going to angle your own blade about 45 degrees so the true edge is aligned towards the opponent's blade. So if the opponent's blade's over here, you're going to angle your sword to the inside this way. That's the neutral position. If your opponent's blade's over here, you're going to angle it 45 degrees, more or less this direction, to the outside. And this means the forte of the blade will protect you from the threat of a short stop thrust. So once you've worked out all the mechanics and you've got the posture more or less correct, then just do a series of repetitions where you are covering the inside line and then the outside line. As usual, I recommend about 20. I won't do so many because it's a little bit boring for the video, but I'll show you a handful. So you get your guard position, you expand the torso, push the sword, take a step forwards. So that is the basic stoccata. Now I will alternate inside and outside line covers. So inside line first, here, recover. Outside line, here, recover. And so on. I'll just demonstrate a couple of those using the dagger in profile. So I'm on guard, like so. Extend the weapon towards the inside a little bit. Outside. And every so often, just look down and try and judge how your flank's doing. Doesn't look too bad here. The posture feels nice and stable. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is the recovery from the expansion to the thrust. I'll cover this very simply just now. We'll look at it more in a subsequent tutorial. But basically, from your, at an angle in this direction, from your expanded position, so your chest and your torso have kind of opened out, you're going to reverse the movement, okay? That means basically you're going to put a bit of tension down here in your abs, in the belly, and you're going to use that to recoil your limbs back into a defensive position. So here's the extended point of the attack, a little bit of tension in the muscles, back in, okay? There's the attack position, a little bit of tension, you pull everything back in. Out here, back in. And that gives you, again, a very compact, a very tight movement that gets you easily back into a guard stance, ready to defend yourself from whatever the opponent's going to do. Okay, that's as much as I'm going to do for this tutorial. I'm actually going to add a sort of appendix to this video, which I'll record later in the week, where we examine the difference between the 16th century stoccata and a later period stoccata, a true lunge in the more modern fencing sense. But that's for a subsequent video, which will be a little extra recorded separately to this. So for now, that's it. Take care everybody, and see you on the next video.